My presentation is on an epiphany I had going into my 60th birthday late last year. Because I wasn't supposed to make it to my 60th birthday, I learned about my 49th birthday. That will follow. This isn't one of those teary things. You don't need to get out. I see what you're reaching for. This isn't one of those teary things, but this is where it came from. So please appreciate that. Learning, sharing, growing, caring, and wearing. You know who you are. Provided the stepping stones to my chart career. And over half of those 60 years, I've been coming to chart. These are stepping stones, not stumbling blocks. These are not pebbles in my shoe. These are not boulders in the way. Chart provided me stepping stones, not only in my career, but looking at it from a different perspective, truly in my life, and from a family perspective. Develop relationships, release my inner trainer, and see the world. The learning piece was easy. That's what we come to chart for. Broaden our horizons, take that one employee department of one lonely, anxiety-ridden trainer. How do I do this? Well, chart becomes our training department. It became mine. It became mine with associates in a room or in an elevator. It became mine with associates that became friends. It became mine with associates that became friends that became mentors. It became mine with these fine folks and many like them. Icons of industry, icons of training, champions of chart, including a relatively unknown author that quickly hit the scene that visited us numerous times, and we got to hang out with just like this and in the hospitality suite, named Ken Blanchard. We got to meet with him for more than a minute. Ken Blanchard met the founder at a chart conference of Chick-fil-A. They collaborated at chart. They wrote a book together. And that is one of the many things that chart came from that helped our industry become what it is and helped folks that we kind of like, look at those superstars. They're hanging out with us at a chart conference, and many, many more. The one I love on there the most, and they're all terrific, is Jim Knight at his first chart conference with for some of you in the room, that is not a tablet of stone, that is an overhead projector. We've come a long way in our photography skills. We've come a long way in our settings. Thank you, Jill and Legacy and such. We've also come a long way in some of our hair standards. But I've come a long way through a goal I set for myself as a kid to travel all 50 states before I was 50 years old. These are really cool. This is called Food Diggity. Do Food Diggity before you get home and look at all the cool stuff that Food Diggity does with food art. I was at Boston, and my daughter called me and said, Dad, remember the map with all the pins on it of all the states, and we knew where you were because it had a red pin in it. And everywhere you traveled around the world, we had a pin so we knew where you were, because I've been traveling most of my life and most of my career. But you're in Boston, and we're looking at the map with your grandkids, and we're saying, you know, you're going to be 50 in October, and you haven't gone to Maine. That's number 50. Thank you, dear. Love you. Appreciate the call. And Monday, for the first time ever, I ditched chart. I rented a car. I drove through New Hampshire into Maine, had a lobster roll, checked it off my list, drove back. I had my outfit laid out like Sean Connery in a James Bond movie and put my tux on after I turned the car in, of course, and walked into the cocktail party as it was ending to the dinner house banquet like we had last night, and nobody knew but me and my daughter. That chart got me to my 50 states and a lot of other places. Sharing. One of the Jeff Tenet tenets is exemplified probably best by the Doolins and many other rock stars that have given back to the world. Cafe Reconcile, thank you, and thank you for the opportunity. This is a service industry. This is a service organization, and Chart gives back. We are incredibly unbridled about our enthusiasm with regard to philanthropy. And one of my passions has always been same, so it fits for me very well. Last time we were here, we built a house for Habitat of Humanity. We built a house. Sharing is terrific. Growing, one of our other tenets, is another opportunity that served me and serves all of us in many, many ways. But who knew that not only would we get to hang out with icons of industry, but future presidential candidates and others that are in the news, good, bad, or indifferent, but presented to us and hung with us and taught us and learned from us. Anybody at Chart can be president. We are human beings. We are diverse. We are equality-oriented in this organization. We are colorblind. We are all Chart. And all the way up from being volunteered and voluntold to be president of an organization. Incredible opportunity. I have the pleasure to work with the best pie and pancake people in the world, who also, a number of years ago, because of a Chart association, a number of years ago before that, when I had hit kind of a change in the river and needed to find some stepping stones to move to, made a couple of calls, and Tony caught him then, Tony Quist now, another former president of Chart, is the reason I'm working with Perkins and Marie Calendars today. So these folks are incredible, and we use this organization as a development tool. There's a lot of Perkins people in the room, there's a lot of Marie Calendars people in the room, and there has been for decades, including Donna, who is again on the board and continues to serve and give back and get back from Chart. Pat, are you back there? Your kids are in your 30s? My little awesome Austin is 25. He's been to 3 Chart conferences. He'll be to future ones. He works with Michelle Lang at Habit Burger, make a habit of it. And we were on stage in a Spirit of Chart kind of deal and came across these pictures. I'm going, gosh, I know them. That's my wife. That's my younger brother. Chart is family for me. I got a souvenir from Chart 81. I took my family to Chart 81. I was president. My family said, Dad, we don't have the map anymore, but we know where you're going. What is the password for Delta and your Delta miles? What is the password for Hilton Honors? And my whole fam dam joined me at Disney and Chart Orlando. 9 months later, Tanner arrived. Or as I call Tanner, Orlando, to my daughter's chagrin, because he's always going to be Orlando to me. The caring piece gets really personal because 11 years ago, I got a call on a Saturday morning from my doctor, AM Saturday morning. And his message was, your time is limited. You have something that you shouldn't have. Your body is not doing what it's supposed to do, and you have cancer. Wow. Really wow. All of a sudden, something changed. I knew when the phone rang on Saturday morning what the answer was. I answered the call, but during that time, I thought about many folks that had gone through it before. I talked with Sandy Spivey, who I just passed over quickly, sorry, who is a 20-year cancer survivor, great friend, great mentor, great charter. Others that are in our organization, Julie, who not only survived but thrived her phone call. In his spectacular kilt, our friend Johnny Alexander and his battle with Parkinson's, they helped me overcome. And a few years later, I'm cancer-free, happy to be here. Wasn't supposed to be. Chart family helped. The fun piece of this is a new tenet that won't be in the brochure. But you can bring out your inner self at Chart. Not just your inner charter, but your inner self. You can be professional, but you can be yourself. Right, Ozzy? Spirit of Chart winner, that's what it says. Ozzy Osbourne. Also, we have superstars with superpowers, I found out, in our Chart organization. And they are not only superheroes and super trainers, but they use those superpowers for good. Only for good. So, my message is basically this. I'm a movie buff. One of my favorite quotes from The Godfather is, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. One more step. Keep your friends close, and at Chart, keep your competitors closer. Because we're all friends, and most of us are competitors in one way or another. But at Chart, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. And if you come for 20 years and you volunteer and you get voluntold and you pay your dues, you don't have to pay dues anymore. You become a lifetime member. Where else can you go? Pay your dues, do what you need to do, give back, get back, and become a lifetime member. And get to hang with your friends every couple of years, or an RTF, or everything in between. And when you need them, and they need you, to send a stepping stone your way to get you over a hurdle in your life, or to get you that little training star toothpick concoction that my grandkids are going to love, and then we'll put it into Perkins, I can see it now, and Marie's. So become a lifetime member. Isn't it great that princes and kings and clowns that caper in sawdust rings and common people like you and me are builders for eternity? To each is given a bag of tools, a shapeless mass, a book of rules, and each must build ere life has flown, a stumbling block or a stepping stone. Thank you, fellow charters, for being stepping stones for Mike Amos and his family, and thank you for being part of my family.